Leicestershire just about kept themselves in touch with Lancashire on a rain-affected second day of the LV County Championship match at Grace Road, in spite of Stephen Croft completing the 9th first-class 100 of his career. The acting visiting skipper needed 2 runs to get to that when play began at 3:30 because of morning rain. Croft required only 5 balls to get to his ton as he pulled Ben Rain to the fence for his 13th 4, which had the batsman raising the willow after facing 151 deliveries. Leicestershire had let their opponents off the hook on day 1 with a number of drop catches, and that pattern continued now as Kyle Jarvis was spilled in the slips. So Lancashire were able to advance from their overnight 356 for 9 to 368 when Croft fell for 102, clipping a ball from Rain to Rob Taylor, who was guilty of a couple of those drops on day 1. Jarvis needed only 2 balls to grab his 24th championship wicket of the season. Angus Robson, the man to go for 5, edging onto his pad and into the hands of Carl Brown at short leg, although the batsman certainly didn't think he'd hit it. On a mostly gloomy afternoon and with a green pitch to bowl on, the Lancashire Seamers would have been hoping to get plenty more out of the new ball, but Lewis Hill and Ned Eckersley dealt well with what was thrown at them by what was a fairly inexperienced attack. Some low bounce did for the unlucky Eckersley, who had little chance of keeping this delivery from Tom Bailey out. He was on his way for 13. That kept low while Jordan Clark found some additional bounce to find the edge of Hill's bat. He caught behind after making 25 out of a score of 68 for 3. Leicestershire were in trouble when, 10 runs later, Neil Pinner edged Nathan Buck to Croft, who held on well to send the batsman packing before he'd scored. The home side's first target was to get to a total of 219 to avoid the follow-on, and that was some way off at this stage, so Niall O'Brien and Mark Cosgrove had to use all of their experience to dig deep to get their side out of a developing hole. Buck, meanwhile, was busting a gut to cause more damage to the team he left at the end of last season. He was replaced by Jarvis, who made it 25 for the summer, when O'Brien, who had been dropped twice, nicked off on 22 after adding 59 important runs for the 5th wicket. Equally as important was that Cosgrove was still there and now looking good after playing and missing several times earlier on. This drive almost took out his partner Rain. The Australian has made good progress with the bat since taking over as the county's captain, and his 8th 4 took into a 50 for the 3rd time in 9 championship innings this year, one of which is thus far converted into 100. He'd needed 80 balls for this one and was keeping his side in this game. He and Rain would have been hoping to bat out the day in some pleasant evening sunshine. There was still work to do to avoid the follow-on, although this pair were making that a lot easier as they added 51 runs for the 6th wicket. But just before the close, Rain on 15 chopped a short ball from Buck onto his stumps. You had to feel for the batsman, who really has had no luck at all throughout this match so far. Tom Wells saw off the remaining few deliveries, protecting Cosgrove, who will get to go again with 65 runs to his name. His side will resume on day 3 on 195 for 6, still 173 runs behind their opponents.